Hey everyone, Zach here. Today I'm going to talk about Azure Snapshot Management, or more generally, just managing your snapshots in any cloud environment or an environment like VMware. So, first off, I'll walk through kind of the different playbooks that comprise this demo. And you can see here in this README, first off, these couple of steps. So, creating the disks using tags, which are supported by all the major cloud service providers, and then snapshotting those disks. I've actually already taken those actions just to keep this demo short, but I'll walk through kind of what happens when you do that. And then the meat of the demo is going to happen here when we go through and scan for snapshots that exist in your environment. And we're going to leverage those tags to do some math to determine whether or not a snapshot has lived beyond its retention date. And we'll send out an email to the owner, again using tags. And lastly, I'll just cover that there is a playbook that exists to go ahead and delete those snapshots automatically. So let's hop over into the portal. So in my Azure portal, I've got a couple of resource groups just for demo purposes, one called the dev resource group and one called prod. So I'll click into the dev resource group. So in here, as you can see, I already ran the create disk playbook, which is really just used for seeding the demo. In a typical environment, you already have some snapshots and disks that exist out there. But I created these dev disk 1, 2, and 3, and similarly in my prod environment. So if I click on these, you'll see that I have some tags, right? So this disk is intended to be retained for 30 days, and then this owner here is my personal email, and then I added an alias just to make the demo a little bit more effective. So I go back. Each of these disks has a particular retention period and an owner. So then if I click on one of the snapshots taken from that disk, I copy over the tags from the disk itself, and then I add some created on and created by tags. The created on here will be used to do the math to determine whether or not a snapshot has lived beyond its expected life. So let me hop over into the automation platform, and you'll see I have some job templates. Again, I already ran create disks and snapshot disks. So let's go ahead and kick off scan snapshots, and then I'll walk through the steps. I'm going to go ahead and set the desired offset days. This is again used for demos, so I'm basically simulating what it would look like 40 days from now. So I've got those retention periods of 30 days, 40 days or so. I'm going to pretend it's 40 days in the future, and we'll get an email based off of that time period. Go ahead and click launch, and I'll let that run. And I'm going to hop over into job templates again. And I'm going to hop over to the scan snapshots and click edit just so you can see the details. You notice here I've got an execution environment. The most important thing here is that your execution environment contains the Azure AZ collection, which is used to do some of the snapshot management and querying. I'm pointing at my playbook here and my inventory. All this is running on localhost, so in your inventory, you just need to have a localhost entry. And I wanted to call out that I do have a couple of credentials here. So if I click on credentials, I've got two different types. I've got an Ansible service account, which is of the Microsoft Azure Resource Manager. This is important. You will need to have a credential created for your Microsoft Azure subscription, and then a service account with permissions to make changes and manage disks in that subscription. And then additionally, I created this custom credential type called Gmail SMTP. That's really to be used with the Ansible built-in mail role, so I can send emails. I'll go over to the docs website for Autodotes, and I did go ahead and publish the configuration I used here. The important pieces are going to be that SMTP server. So for my case, I'm just using smtp.gmail.com, the default port of 587, and then I give it my username and my SMTP password. Two things that you can create with just a basic Gmail account to test things out, or if you have your own. So both of those things are important for this to run successfully. So let's go back and check on this job. So it looks like our scan snapshots ran to completion. And you can see here I've got my Gmail open, and I've already got 3 new emails. So you notice I created those aliases, right? So I had the disk 1, 2, and 3 aliases. I did that just to give an idea of what it looks like if you had different owners. In this case, so you'll notice that in my email, I only got a record here for disk 3, and that's the disk in the dev environment that this alias owns. We got some nice information here, right? So when was it created? How old is it? So it's 40 days old. Its retention period was set to 30 days, which is why it showed up in this list. And then the disk size, SKU, and cost, which is just kind of a generic cost estimation that I implemented, as well as location. So as you can see, this could be useful, right? You could send this out, and this could be a report, and then you could have some sort of delay, and then actually automatically delete these snapshots that exist in your cloud environment unless this owner takes some sort of action, right? So let me go back. I'll show a different email. So this one, you can see disk 2. It had a couple of disks, so both its dev and prod disks were actually past the retention date. So they both showed up. And again, this would show up for as many disks or as many snapshots, that you have for any disks that you own. So I'll hop back over here, and just to show, this blog article that I have here will take through step by step kind of some of the main tasks and playbooks that are covered here. If I go back over to the repo itself, and I'll just quickly walk through delete snapshots just to show you that this would kind of be that next step you would take, right? So based off of how you want to leverage the information that you've gathered, you have some snapshots that are beyond their retention date. This playbook would actually then go and delete those snapshots based off of that same calculation. So interested to hear, please leave comments if you have questions about how to take this playbook and implement it in a more production environment where there may be some approvals, things like that. So maybe you want to create a work item in a ticket management system like ServiceNow or Jira or Azure DevOps, and then once it's approved or something along those lines, trigger this delete action to go ahead and clean up your environment. This will likely be my last post of the year, so happy holidays, and look forward to engaging and creating some new content next year. Thanks for listening.